Hey group leaders, what's up? Hope you guys had a great Christmas. We are here, my family, with our good friends Clint and his wife Heather Vaught. Not only are they our friends, but Clint is actually like the guy that's done all the tattoos that you guys get to see and always ask about. So I wanted you to meet the man, the talent behind the artwork. Here he is, like in person. He's a real human being right here. But I wanted Clint, like more than anybody that I kind of know, like intersects his life and ministry and work kind of all together. So I want you to hear from him about that here in just a second. But I have a couple updates for you first. Number one, the DVDs for this next series on, it's called Next actually, on disciple making, how Jesus would invite people to take a next step with following him. You can get those DVDs at the Love Where You Are table beginning this weekend. So stop by and pick that up unless you are planning on streaming it through the app. But if you need a hard copy DVD, get those this weekend. And then the other thing, registration has been open, so I'm sure some of you have been seeing some emails come through with new people registering for your groups. So do me a favor, just be sure to follow up with them and let them know how welcome they are, how excited you are for them to join you, and make sure that they know like where you meet and all the details that they need. I've attached a guide to help you kind of walk through that first email, so take a look at that if you have any questions, or you can just follow up with me. Oh, Clint.
Yep.
I want them to be. What's up, man? I want them to be able to meet you because you're like one of my favorite people. But
thank you.
Man, you were talking yesterday about like tattooing and how you view like your work as being able to like do ministry for people and like live out your faith. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so some of it, like you saying that, it's like super flattering and stuff, but also I think it's like sometimes I feel like I kind of get to cheat a little bit with that because say the average time of tattooing someone is probably around 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So like some of the tattoos I do they might be like quick little ones that take like 10 minutes, but it probably all averages out to about 45 minutes. And I'm not the most extroverted person, but I would rather be talking to somebody than just like sitting there idly tattooing them. Because sometimes for some people too, that's like kind of an uncomfortable experience or like it's a new experience, and you want to make people feel welcome and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So what I kind of do is I have like it sounds like super staged, but I just have like kind of a set of questions that I'll ask people to kind of like break the ice.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
And it's like, the way I look at it is like, I'd like to be able to talk to them about like, their worldview or their faith, and eventually talk to them about Jesus or the Bible or whatever, like wherever they are in that. But it's mostly just a kind of way to get to know them as a person. Right. And it sounds like, and it helps me too, because it like if I make them feel comfortable and invited and stuff, it helps them have a good experience, and they come back to me to get more tattoos.
That's right. Yeah. It worked for me anyway.
Yeah. The main thing though is just helping them feel. Most of the interactions that a lot of people have in their just day-to-day lives aren't really probably very valuable to them.
Right. Like meaningful.
Or meaningful. Yeah. So it's just like trying to help people feel like. Give them an opportunity to express themselves as just like a human being, and
that's awesome.
Kind of share themselves.
So, dude, those questions you were talking about, you shared those with me yesterday.
Yeah.
And I thought they were awesome. What are some of the questions you'll ask to open up a conversation?
Usually, if somebody's, it kind of seems like somebody's a little bit more quiet, usually I'll start with like the easy one, like, where are you from?
Yeah.
And then kind of like, oh, okay, well, what do you do? Like, what brought you, like, if they're not from Evansville, I'll be like, oh, what brought you here? Like, and if it's a work or family or whatever, it's like, okay, well, you just mentioned your family, so, okay, well, do you have an aunt or uncle or grandma, mom, dad?
Yeah.
Are you married? Do you have kids? How old are your kids?
Right.
What are your kids? The thing I've been doing lately is like, if somebody's like, oh, my kids are like 6 and 8, or like, oh, well, what are your kids like into? Are they into anything right now?
Yeah.
Because that people like to talk about their kids.
Oh, dude.
And that's sort of interesting.
Yes.
I don't have kids, but for some reason that's like an interesting question. Just kind of culturally too, I guess, just to see like what people are into.
Yeah, man.
So and then that'll lead anywhere really.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like family, job, kids is usually like the most important things to people.
Right.
And then if they seem like they want to talk about their job, I'll be like, oh, how long you worked there? Like
just following up
on questions. And then a lot of times too, then if they feel like I'm interested in what they have to say, they'll be like, oh, well, where are you from? Then I get to kind of talk about myself a little bit, and we throw off of each other. And it's like if I'm sitting with somebody for 3 hours, I'd rather be talking to them. And then some people aren't as open to talk, so then that's fine too. I won't pry if it seems like I'm getting short answers or whatever. still try to be nice and everything, but not try to like pry stuff out of them. So.
Well, dude, you said a couple things I think are really important because you said like you're more like introverted by nature.
Yeah.
And I think I tend to be that way too. I can be extroverted because I need to be.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm a little bit more introverted. So like for people like you and I, it's really helpful to know I've got some questions I can ask people and I know that they'll work.
Totally.
And it's something that is just like what they're interested in and getting to know them. And you mentioned this and kind of alluded to it, but it's all about like forming trust and building a relationship with them. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then over time, like that conversation may go deeper. You may build a friendship or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like some really cool life stuff may happen out of that as well. Yeah.
There's a kind of example of that. A guy just tattooed. I ended up tattooing his son, and then he saw the work that I'd done on his son, and he actually didn't have any tattoos, and I ended up doing a tattoo on him and and 3 of his sons.
So it was like a family tattoo.
Yeah, it was like a family tattoo.
Cool.
It was based off like this image from this video game.
Yep.
And it was really fun, and I got to kind of know them. And then he ended up actually coming back earlier in the week and getting another tattoo like opposite. And it was really crazy because like, I mean, I'm not like, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like friends with the guy, but we've had a relationship and like, seems like I've kind of established like a trust with him. But he was like really opening up to me, and it was really cool. And I mean, I reciprocated and everything, but he had I still don't he plans on getting tattooed again, so I kind of want to like maybe bust through it a little bit more. But he had like a kind of like touching story, I guess. It said I guess his wife had passed away, and he was in like Narcotics Anonymous and stuff. So I don't know like what all had been going on in his life, but I definitely want to keep in contact with him.
Right.
And it's like with stuff like that, sometimes it's like, okay, well, this guy's sharing with me, but I don't want to be like, I've only been around this dude for like 3 hours, and he's like 20 years older than me, and so I don't want to be too like
prying in,
but it's like I want to share and I'll listen and I'll kind of throw stuff off and everything, but I feel like I don't know if I'm like the best at doing that, but I feel like I haven't like scared anybody off or anything.
That's
so
awesome. Yeah.
I definitely want to keep in contact with the guy and keep talking to him.
Right.
See where he is, like, in his faith and everything, because another thing that's weird, too, is, like, sometimes people will just, like, when you start talking about that stuff, I have a lot of, like, the name of my studio is, like, sort of, like, Christian sounding, and I have a lot of, like, Christian imagery and stuff. Yeah. So I've had people just be like, oh, hey, you're a Christian, and they'll straight up ask me about it.
Right.
And I don't know if that's necessarily, like, I would like to say that's, like, the way I talk or act, or I don't know if that's really true or not, but it's just crazy, like, if you just start to just talk to people, how much easier it is to talk to them about like real stuff, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I want you to meet Clint because it's just a great example of like how we encourage you guys to look at how your life intersects in relationships with people. And Clint's taken what he's passionate about, what he loves doing with his job and his love for Jesus and the people he comes in contact there, and just intersects those in a way that he really has the opportunity to make a lot of impact in people's lives and, leave a lasting impression beyond just the tattoo.
Well, thanks.
And dude, you do a really good job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. And thanks, man, for being willing to do this.
Welcome.
I know these guys are pumped to meet you. Maybe we'll get some people to come get tattooed by you sometime too. Totally. That'll be awesome. All right, guys, we'll catch you next week.